We're looking at, all this conversation going on, listening to these, this Canadian and this, this bloke from New Zealand who now lives in the UK. I want to make sure I get that right. He's not from Australia. He's not a native Brit. Then you're wondering, we're just eavesdropping on the Benjamin and Darryl show. But the reality is we're going to have a debate today. I love Benjamin. Yeah. He's a colorful character. So I was looking forward to this one. And Benjamin, I'm going to bring you up on a split screen here so we can talk to you.
Yeah.
So there we go. So the interesting thing about this is I was sharing with a friend of mine, and Dan Disney, if you're listening,
hi Dan.
Hi Dan. That's right. Just tune away for a second. I said to my friend, I said, I was a little concerned about my debate with Dan Disney because Dan Disney, over 300,000 followers, he wields influence. He's a smart lad. He knows his topic really well. I was a little concerned, not overly concerned, because you don't want to look like a schmuck, when you're doing a debate. But I said to my friend, I'm more concerned with Benjamin, because I said, Benjamin, Dan at least was nice and courteous, but Benjamin, you are the UK's most hated sales trainer. So, and I see you come dressed for the attire. You have your trademark suspenders. There we go.
Yeah.
And you got your wonderful red hat, make salesmen great again.
That's right. Yeah.
Which is totally politically incorrect. Shouldn't that be salespeople? Just, in honor of.
The free PR I get from people complaining, worth every penny.
All right. So this is Benjamin. And if you don't know Benjamin, let me see. I have a little piece of paper here that my crew has given me on you. Let me see if I get this. Pretend that this is spontaneous. Benjamin is an engaging sales speaker and trainer who will explain that the barriers cemented within your selling process is your parents' fault. Dennehy brings an antipodean brutality. Look that up, folks. And charm. Brutality and charm. I don't think I've ever seen that in the same sentence. To the sales experience that many have never encountered before. His no-holds-barred presentations will educate, inspire, motivate, and help your salespeople understand why, and importantly, how to overcome many of their daily sales frustrations and struggles. That is you. How did I do?
You did brilliantly. I mean, hats off. And I just want to say to everyone watching that during this recording, no Canadians were hurt or injured.
Oh, I love that one. Oh, okay. So let me come back and bring it. So what we're going to do, folks, I'm going to tell you quick and dirty kind of how this works. All right. So the logistics, straightforward. We are recording this, number one. So if you have to leave, we'll send you a link in a couple days once we've had a chance to clean it up and make sure that I have more airtime than Benjamin does in the final product. That's number one. Number two, we're actually live tweeting. So if you want to follow us, on the VanillaSoft Twitter sphere, just go to Twitter, VanillaSoft, just like it sounds. And you can do that. So you can be part of the conversation that way too. Just include @VanillaSoft in that. Number three, you have in front of you the ability to chat with us. We have the embedded player on your page, and then we have this little chat function. People always struggle with the chat function because it's not the clearest. I totally acknowledge it. So this is what you got to do. This is the secret to the chat function. Go to the bottom of that page, and you should see a section often below the fold that says join the chat. Log into Vimeo. We're using Vimeo. Log in with Facebook, knock yourself out, or chat as a guest. We always pick chat as a guest. Just tap on that, put your name in there, and then you can talk and comment and kibitz and share your anecdotes and your stories. You can argue with us all you want to. And if one of you says something that's really interesting, compelling, then we'll be sure to give you a shout out. In the meantime, myself and my team are monitoring this, and we'll make sure to respond to you. So that's how you chat in real time with us here. So that's kind of the way it's going to work. So I guess with that, I'm going to come back and talk about, where are we here? I want to talk about too much going on. So let's set the stage, Benjamin. The topic here is, so should you be scripting? That's the question. So should you be scripting?
My contention is no.
Okay, I know, but you're wrong. And my contention is yes. Wrong. So, we're going to get into why you're wrong if you hold on. But what I'm going to tell the audience is how this began. A little story. Feel free to jump in here if you want, which is, this all began when Will Barron the host and producer of the Salesman podcast, went out there and said, "Do you guys believe in scripting?" And it was a long, drawn out process, and it was kind of funny because if you know Benjamin or me or anybody else who's active on LinkedIn, this will be shocking to you. Benjamin got out there first, got ahead of me with an opinion. He just didn't say no, I don't believe in it. He got into a very elaborate, colorful, pointed, UK's most hated style statement that says effectively you're a moron if you do. And I'm paraphrasing, but that's essentially what you were saying. Is that
probably?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. All right. And then I responded back to say, well, then you're a moron if you don't. And then we had a little tit and tat and back and forth, and others chimed in. And then I pinged him behind the scenes, and I said, my good friend, this seems to be a topic that resonates with the community. We should do this because clearly you're wrong and I'm right, and they need to know that. So here we are. That's how we got here.
Okay, here we are. So let's.
So why? So go ahead.
They can't see the blood red background, can they?
They can. They can totally see this.
They can.
They can see the blood red background. Absolutely.
It's there for you, so it'll cover up the nastiness.
Exactly. And then one thing before you, I want to hear your position, just so you know how this is going to work, everybody. You know, this is fundamentally a back and forth process. So we're going to let each of these questions are kind of designed for. Maybe Benjamin to go first or me to go first. We have 5 questions, and we'll be able to position, state our position in a handful of minutes, and then they can respond, and then we may have some back and forth where we banter, and then we'll move on to the next one. So as recently as yesterday, when we tested the technology, we were discussing, who was going to win, and I heard Benjamin distinctly say I was going to win. But with that said, Benjamin, my good friend, talk to me. What's your position on should you be scripting?
Well, the answer is clearly no. But I'm gonna say something here because I think what you're gonna do and what people who support scripts are gonna do is slightly cheat here, and you're gonna change the definition of a script and maybe move it more towards the concept of more of a structure. You're going to argue. Now, I'm going to give script its literal meaning because I get phoned up by people who clearly are using a script. And a script is a set piece that you have to deliver. Now, it does not enable a person to be human. It does not enable a person to deal with curveballs. It is almost like they're on a set of railway tracks that they have to keep following. And most scripts are written by people who have no idea what they're doing. No idea. Because if you actually go through these scripts, they fail the fundamental thing that most telephone prospecting calls are about. And this is what most salespeople don't get. A telephone prospecting call is designed to take a person from intellect to emotion. Most scripts fail in that process. And because they fail in that process, because they don't enable a salesperson to be able to move someone from intellect to emotion, they don't work. And that is why scripting doesn't work. Now, I believe in structure. Just like the sentence I am giving you now has a structure, it isn't scripted. But there is a structure to it that I systematically follow. Otherwise, I'd be talking nonsense and garbage. So scripts are pointless. They're used by big corporations, massively pumped out, sort of battery farm, chicken factory type call centers, everybody reading through this script. And you get them from India, you get them from China as well. They can't go off piece, and they're designed to fail. It is a numbers game. Scripting is for people that don't actually care about the person they're calling. So scripts are useless, but they're widely used because people who write them are idiots, and they don't know what they're doing. Is that enough? Or you want more?
Wow. Okay. That's enough. That's a starting point because we got 5 talking points to hit. This is the setup. So I'm going to recap. In fact, I'm going to go to split screen here so we can just recap this. So I'm hearing you say scripts are useless, developed by morons who don't know what they're doing, and you contend that a script and a structure are different beasts. Did I
completely?
Did I know that's fine? Did I encapsulate your sentiment, your opening argument? Okay, my turn. Argument. My turn.
Go for it.
All right. My good friend Benjamin is wrong on many fronts, but we'll stick to scripting today. So, first off, I'm tired of this debate, this semantic twisting, this splitting of hairs that says a script versus a calling guide versus a structure, and a structure is just a logical flow. It's structured of points you want to cover are different. They're not. They're not at all. All right? The purpose of a script in its truest sense is simply to make sure that the rep who's on the phone knows how to frame the conversation. It does not, in any way, shape, or form, preclude the rep from being natural, from going off script, from adding their own personality, to taking tangents that the script doesn't cover. It doesn't do any of that. Benjamin will tell you that you're a moron if you use them and that the sales management needs to be shot. And I'm paraphrasing, of course. The reality is sales management needs to be shot if they don't use it, because they themselves have no control of what the individual is saying on the phone or in that communication in that moment. The only control they have is that they've trained them up front and then they set them free. And I don't know about you, but the reality is too many people choke when they're set free. They need that crutch. They need that training wheel. Now, the training wheels are just there until you learn to ride the bicycle. And then once you've learned to ride the bicycle, the training wheels come off. Do you change your style of riding the bicycle? You don't. You learned balance, and it was there to guide you, to support you, to encourage you, to give you that safety net so you had the confidence to go forward and learn the skill. But once those wheels are off, those skills you learned are inherent. They're intrinsic. They're just part of your DNA, and they come forth. All because of the script. That's what a script is. Now, if you're like me and you're chatty Cathy and you go off script sometimes and you kind of like, where was I? I can't remember. Oh, look, there's the script. I can go back. Oh, right. I want to get back and talk to this point. So I'm going to segue back to this point. That's the purpose of a script. If you come to me and you say scripts suck, then I say they weren't implemented right. If you're visceral with your opinion that says they're stuttered, you sound like you're reading, then it was done wrong. Do not bring your baggage to this discussion. Look at a script as what it is. It's a tool, and it's a tool that's very effective. So that is my response to you, my good friend.
Well, I'd say the only tool is the one using it.
I somehow suspected we were going to get there. All right. So with those opening gambits, I see the discussion going on online. So we've had some questions. Let me answer this. We're not going to do any kind of show and tell today on, let me show you this tool, how script works or what doesn't work. We're just having a live debate. And the irony is this. When I was doing this today, Benjamin, I wanted to share with you. And yesterday, and working with the team, I was laughing to myself because here we're putting together this PowerPoint. And the PowerPoint, of course, we have our 5 talking points. And Benjamin and I agreed in advance that these are the 5 points we could cover in the time frame we had. We could go a lot further, but we'll keep the conversation focused. And I thought to myself, look at our supporting slides are a structure, almost like a guide, almost like a script. And then I'm going to be able to ad lib, as will you, whilst we stay on topic. Isn't that interesting? Just putting it out there.
It's not a script. It's 2 lines.
It's a calling guide.
That's not a script. That is not a script.
I could add a few bullets here if you want me to, and then all of a sudden it's a script.
You just gave an argument against the use of semantics, and now look at what you're doing.
Oh my gosh.
That is not a script.
Pot meet kettle. Kettle meet pot. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. This first one is totally meant for my good friend Benjamin here. Here's the question. Scripts just get in the way of good reps. So I'll let you go first. What's your take on that statement?
Well, I think the statement's a contradiction. A good rep doesn't use a script. So I don't know how I can really debate that. But look, it goes back to the fundamentals. What is the purpose of a prospecting call? Most salespeople don't know this because they're given a script and they're told, memorize this, get good at saying this. It's designed to be paragraphs of information. And that's the first thing. You know straight away that a script is going to get in the way of anyone that's got any natural talent at selling if you're looking at a document that's full of words. Because what that tells me is one thing and one thing alone. The salesperson is going to do most of the talking. And if the salesperson is doing most of the talking, this isn't an effective prospecting call. So scripts are actually designed to keep salespeople talking. I want salespeople to shut up. Most salespeople spend 5 minutes selling, then 55 minutes buying it back. Yeah. So my job, and I believe that a process designed to move a person from intellect to emotion is the best structure on a call. And that is very, very simply done. Now, we're not going to go into what that looks like today, but good reps don't need a script. A good rep knows that all they need to do is find out, does someone have problems that we can fix? How long have they had them? What have they done to try and fix it? Did that work? If it hadn't worked, how much has that cost them? How does that make them feel? And have they given up trying to fix it? You don't need a script for that. All you got to do is find out the answer to those questions. And if the answer at the end is, I haven't given up trying to fix it, you may have an opportunity. So scripts don't aid. They only get in the way.
Scripts get in the way. All right, so this is where I get to rebut. Let me see how I do over here. All right, so scripts don't aid, they only get in the way. Okay, so I made notes here.
You've got a script, yeah.
I don't have a script. I've got handwritten notes. This is the slide we're on. It matches.
I want no notes. You can't.
No, these are your talking points. If I'm on a call with a rep, with a prospect, and they're saying, well, this is my pain, this is my issue. You're telling me your sales rep is not making notes so they can come back and bring it back to their very issues? Of course they are. You just told me they're asking all those questions.
But they should. I know those questions. I don't have them written down anywhere. I mean, it's obvious, isn't it?
I didn't write down the questions. I wrote down 4 points. Tell me if this sounds familiar. Point number 1, designed to keep people talking. That's what your word was. Intellect to emotion, your words. Good reps do not need a script. Your words. Typical discovery process. Your words. I wrote down what you said so that when I respond, I have context and you relate to me.
I'll give you that. I can't see that document, so I'll give you that.
Well, there we go. All right, that's what I wrote down. It's not a script. I want to make sure I honor my good friend Benjamin. All right, so let me come back here, and scripts just get in the way of good reps. That's the topic. Let me give you my comment on that first, and then I'll respond. I'll rebut to your points. So this is what I was going to say. First off, scripts get in the way of good reps. To that, I say hogwash. There is absolutely nothing stopping a good rep from engaging in a live, natural conversation, precisely as Benjamin just said. However, what scripts will do is give you context. The script might be ask these questions, exactly as Benjamin was getting at. And Benjamin's point is a good rep, I'm trying to paraphrase him, a good rep doesn't need that. They just know. And we got Andrew Morrow's commenting now. That's not a script. Oh, my goodness. So here we go. So a good rep, emphasis on the word good, will know those questions. But the thing is, not every rep is good. It's the classic.
Most are.
Hey, whoa, back off. You had your time. My turn now that you can respond in a second. So 20% of the reps you're going to replace, all right? It's just like any other occupation. 20% are not going to do well in that role. You're going to replace them. That's fair. That's life. It's a tough, tough world. 20%, we can argue. 30%, 25%. But the gist is 20% are good reps. They're really good reps. And they're just natural. But that 60% in the middle, they're either going to stay in the middle or they're going to evolve, and we want them to evolve to be that top 20%. All right? But until they can evolve, they're in the middle. Those guys, they need scripts. They need those training wheels I talked about. So, but despite those training wheels, there's nothing stopping me on my bicycle from turning right or turning left as the mood strikes me, because I still have the training wheels there as my foundation. You can totally be off the cuff just like that. That's the first point. Number 2, a script, a calling guide, talking points. Those keep you focused and on point, all right? These are the questions you want to ask. These are the landmines you may want to plant when the time is right so you can differentiate yourself from your competition, all right? These are the value props or the probing questions you can actually drill down on to really get at the heart of what their pain is. That's all in the script, right? Scripts aren't just a Word doc. Scripts can have proper script, and scripting tools will have the ability to have, drop downs. They can have logical branch scripting so that as the conversation moves around or as it progresses, you can keep pace with it. A script is not meant to be read. That's the first point I want to say. So when you say to me scripts get in the way of good reps, I would actually agree with you. They don't necessarily get in the way, but they keep them honest. You know, a good rep is going to look at a script far less often than a typical or an average rep. But let's go back to your point. Flowcharts. Yes, it could be a flowchart. It absolutely could be a flowchart, but it's built in. I'm commenting because Andrew Morris brought this up in the chat conversation. But
I can see
the flowchart. Yes, but you know the audience may not. I'm trying to tell them to get on there and chat. So, the point being is that a flowchart is a built-in function of a script. And if you're just using a Word doc, a piece of paper, then that's you. That's not the script. That's on you. Now, you said a script is designed to keep them talking. You want them listening. How in the hell, my good friend Benjamin, excuse the language, is a script designed to keep them talking? If the script says, ask this probing question, brackets, shut up, that's not a script malfunction. If the script has got 40 questions and they have to get through it, that's a training malfunction, not a scripting malfunction.
If your script has got 40 questions, you're already in trouble.
Well, absolutely. But is that a function of the script or a function of the management and the training and the setup? And that's what I'm saying.
The people that wrote the script.
People conflate the two, right? A script is valuable, but like anything, it can be abused.
Unless it's got 40 questions.
Unless it's got 40 questions. Absolutely.
Then it's a bad script.
So then it's a bad script. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that all scripts are bad.
Can you give me an example of a good script you've had recently read to you over the phone?
So let me answer that. No. I knew you were going to do that. No. I'm not going to give you an answer of a good script over the phone because the reality is to get like 14 calls a day wanting to take my money.
And they're all pretty bad, aren't they?
But I can give you an example of a good, let's call it, well, yes. And honestly, they are all pretty bad. I fully agree with you. But again.
And they're all scripted, I bet.
No, most of them are not. The problem is they don't do it. They don't do what you're saying. They don't do the probing questions and shut up, or they don't move from intellect to emotion. I agree with you. It's designed to go from intellect to emotion. They don't even do that. It's not a script issue. Their script is either a lack of script, candidly. I think for many of these people, if they had a script, the calls would go a lot better because they don't know what to ask. This question says it best, right? Good reps. You wouldn't have a career as the most hated, sales trainer in all the UK if 90% of people were rock stars when it came to sales and selling infrastructure. You wouldn't. Simple as that, right? So we both know that. So don't conflate scripts as being the victim when the reality is it's the people behind that made the scripts. Those are two different things altogether. Scripts done right serve a purpose. And that's the big thing. If you want to get from intellect to emotion, a few talking points down there are designed to move them through that process. Because and I know, not everybody is emotional. Some are very logical. That's who they are. And not everybody's intellectual. They're emotional people. So to balance that, to go from A to B can be hard for some of these people. Having those stepping stones makes their life better. Your point, and then I'll shut up here. You said good reps do not need a script. I agree with you. They don't need it, but my qualification is because they've already internalized it. That's my point. So that's it. That's my response. And you can now rebut. It's your turn.
Okay. Where to begin? I mean, the fact that you struggle to give an example of a good call that you've recently had tells me that the people calling you are probably using really bad scripts. So in the last week, have had 3 calls that I can remember, one from an insurance company called Vitality, one from a bank, and one from a telecoms company. All 3 were cold calls. All 3 started off, spoke the same way, and they followed a script. I could hear them following a script.
Yep.
This is what a preponderance, I'd say this is about what 95% of sales calls sound like. So your argument is that a good script would work. In theory, anything good will work. But 95% of all calls made by people using scripts are total and utterly useless. They'd be better just phoning up and heavy breathing down the phone than they would be reading what it is that they're reading. They would have more success in bonding with me if they were able to do that.
All right, so I want to stop. If you're a heavy breather, you're going to bond with Benjamin. That's the first part. Okay. Yes, I fully agree that 95% of the calls you've had are bad, but you're also biased, all right? Because you are the man. Just like, the others, Andrew Morrow's another good example, who are out there, Steve Burton, another example, who are all good, talented people. And you are the harshest, most judgmental critics because you know what a good one should do.
Well, because I used to be a crap one. That is why I'm so hard.
Listening to some of these arguments, I would suggest you still are, but that's an aside.
Well, I used to use scripts, and they were awful. And they just said, just get better at them, just get better at them, just get better at them, just get better at them. And what I realized is those scripts were wrong. They were written badly. They didn't know the purpose of the call. They didn't know where they were going. They were designed to almost push a person in a direction as opposed to lead them there. The questions, as a prospect on the phone, I can predict the questions that someone with the script's about to ask me. I can hear and see the logical structure they're following. And most prospects aren't stupid. And they're able to see where you're going with it, the presumptive question. You can see what they're doing. And it's so easy to enable people to back out.
So let's go with what you just said. Scripts, you used to do it. It was not good for you. They where do I go with this? Because I have so many in my mind. It was basically, you said they were designed wrong. Your exact words. So right there, full stop. It wasn't the script. It was how the script was built. That's no different than saying all salespeople are bad because some salespeople are bad. You're equating all scripts are bad because some scripts are poorly written. Ergo, all sales reps are bad because there are some poor salespeople out there. They're separate. A script serves a function. If you want to abuse it and screw it up, that's up to you. Now, I do want to come back. We Rick online here says, I'm responding probably to the point I was making. And full disclosure, Rick and I, many moons ago, went to school together. So, I haven't seen Rick in probably 20 or more years, but he was a good guy then. He always had a cool beard. And anyway, I won't go. But Rick's a good guy. His point was, it sounds more like good call planning than scripting. Well, I might suggest that a script, effective done right, is a pseudo call plan, at least at the opening, the opening
So
part.
for you, a script is everything but the written word. It seems to me you encompass your definition of script is so broad. It's thinking about it. That's a script.
Oh no, no.
Picking up a phone.
So let me tell you, when in your world,
scene one, pick up the phone.
In your world, when does a script come into play? Okay, now assuming a script is used, I know your opinion on it. In your world, when does a script come into play?
What do you mean in my world?
Well, your world, because you're anti-scripts. So I get that. But if a script was involved, if your client had a script, at what point does a script come into play? I'm just asking you for context. Does it come into play, I pull it up and then I dial the number? Or do I wait until they get to a certain topic? Oh, I have this, my widgets suck. And then I do a drop down, widgets suck. These are the talking points. Like, when does a script come into play in your world?
Well, from the calls that I've received, I can only go on calls that I've received and made when using scripts. They actually guide you through the whole process. Good morning, sir, madam. How are you today? All this facetious nonsense. I'm good, fine. And then I've got all these. If they say this, you say this. If they say this, you say this. It's almost as someone put up there. It's like a flow chart. But the amount of data and information that someone has to absorb to try and make that flowchart work is ludicrous. So from every experience I have had, you can spot a script.
Andrew Morrow uses the term vomit. So
vomit
is a colorful word. Now, here's the problem. All right, Benjamin, I didn't know you were going to bring Andrew Morrow with you to support you and defend you, but I'm glad you brought some support. That's fantastic. All right.
He's outside my jurisdiction.
That's all I got to say. So what I've heard you say is I'm gonna move on to the next one because the whole point here is scripts get in the way of good reps. I disagree. I think done right, they are a supporting tool. That's my only claim to fame on this point here.
Why does a good rep need a supporting tool if they're good?
Because not every rep is a good rep. I've
got that. Why do good reps need them then?
Good reps need them. Okay, let's take that. Let's walk down that road for a second. That's a really good question.
Road.
Okay, I'm a good rep. Okay, in my fictitious world, clearly you would not ever hire me, but I'm a good rep. I start my job. I'm working at Benjamin Dennehy Inc. All right.
Yeah.
And I've got my official red hat on now, my suspenders. It's the first day of my job. And I'm now on the phones. And I took the training and I watched all the, computer-based training and I read everything and I watched some videos.
You wouldn't get that at Benjamin Dennehy.
I would. Fair enough.
You wouldn't get into
Fair
that.
enough. Fair enough.
That. Yeah.
And I get on the phone, and even though I'm a good rep, I got the raw skills, I got the track record, I understand intellect, emotion, everything else.
Yeah.
All right. I might say, hi, how are you? But then, what are the pains I want to explore to? Yeah, I know, whatever. What are the pains you want to get to? What are the opening questions that are the right questions to drill down and start the discovery process for the product or the service that I'm representing? Because I'm a brand new good rep.
Well, this is the beauty of not having a script, because I can give you a structure that, regardless of the product or service you sell, never changes. So if you learn what I do, you never, ever have to change what you're doing. It's almost like being a surgeon saying, I can't operate at a different hospital because I've just moved here. They don't need a script on how they're going to perform the operation. They follow the same process and procedure every time. It's not a script. So, if I follow your logic,
yeah. If I want to be a Hollywood actor, I simply go find the most recent Academy Award winner and I say, teach me what you know, and then I can show up. And I don't need a script because I intuitively know what that Academy Award winner knows, and therefore I'll just intuit the script.
No, but you wouldn't need a script to tell you how to act.
Yes,
you'd know how to act because that's act. No, that would give you the line. But look, I'm not even sure if that example's relevant here.
Oh, sure. Look, you can bob and weave all you want. That's all good.
I'm not bobbing and weaving. If a good salesperson has a structure that, regardless of what you sell, never changes. So I can talk you through the structure. It's very simple. 10 easy set. Patent interrupt. Upfront contract. 30-second commercial. Permission to continue talking. Then into 6 paying questions. Push away and deny that I can fix their problem. Have them invite me in, and then finally tell them who I am and where I'm calling from.
All right, so here's the question. Where are all these reps that are following this intuitive system? Because Lord knows they're not out there.
No, they're selling sales training. They work with Sandler.
With that, we're going to move on. I got 4 more topics to get to. We beat this one to death. So I'm clearly, there's no winner or loser here, but that's okay. We're going to move it along. So, all right, with the next one up. It's.
I think the public knows.
I think you think the public knows? Okay, let's go with that one. All right, scripts are necessary to control messaging. I'm going to go first on this one to make it easier. All right, so here we go. Scripts are necessary to control messaging, says the marketing guy. All right, so let's talk. Can we talk? Sales folks, can we talk? I love you. I genuinely respect you. I think you're smart at what you do. I think you're gifted. I've done your job. I know it's not easy. But here's the thing, and I say this with no malice. It's my observation that many of you, many of you, think the world starts and stops with you. You've got the lead, an inbound lead maybe, or you maybe did a cold call, a warm call, whatever, but either way, and you start the conversation. I got news for you. That's not how the real world works anymore, all right? This is how the real world works. If it's an inbound lead, I've pinged, me the marketer, I've pinged that person. I may have pinged them 42 times with different emails and trade shows and social media and pay-per-click and retargeting and case studies and podcasts. And they've heard all about VanillaSoft a gazillion times. And somewhere along the way, something I said resonated with them. Something I said. And they went to my website and they explored that thread and they found it maybe on a web page, on a product or a feature, maybe on the resources page for a piece of content, and they watched another webinar of their own volition now, right? And they're downloading this content. And along the way, they probably went to some community forums or Reddit or they went on social media, LinkedIn or Twitter, and they got some social proof that this is an issue and how, they're looking at solving their problem is done this way. And what you're doing is you're validating that their problem is a problem because they've consumed the content that I made for them, or they're rejecting me. This is what you do. That's not what I need. So VanillaSoft is gone. But if they get to the point that they finally say, yes, fill that form out, contact me, or whatever it might be, and the lead, that MQL, is now handed to you, you are not the first point of contact for that company. That's an inbound lead. If you've done cold calling or warm calling, and it's not an inbound lead, you've just found them. You did a Zoom info, Discover org, whatever it might be, and you qualified them and you said, these criteria, I'm calling you. Here I am. My name is Benjamin. I'm going to go from intellect to emotion, and I'm going to ask them some standard generic qualifying questions without my script. At the same time, what they're doing is they're on your website checking out who you are. They're half listening to you. Don't let Benjamin fool you, because this is exactly what they're doing. At the same time, they're on LinkedIn checking you out to see who exactly is this Benjamin fellow. Do I even think he's credible? Do I trust him? Should I listen to him? Does he have any context? Is he reputable? Because he represents risk to me. And that's where we get to, whether it's a warm call or a cold call or it's an inbound lead. In the end, the vendor, the service provider, always represents risks. So what they want to do is they're looking to allay that risk, and that's where you come in. You put their mind at ease. You ask the probing questions. You do all this wonderful stuff, and you start to build a relationship up, and you minimize that risk. So you're at the middle of the funnel. I'm at the top of the funnel. Long-winded way of saying I set the table with all the messages. They're here because of what I said. When you pick up that phone, and you say what you say that's inconsistent with what I said, which is why they're here, you ruin the customer experience. Now they're confused. Now there's no trust. All right? That's what you need to do. How do you overcome that? Oh, by the way, wonderful. Thank you for asking. We have a script that makes sure certain themes, certain messages are there for you to use. So if they got really hot and heavy over this phrase, well, it's in your script, you use it again, and they feel like there's continuity. They feel like you get it. I'm at the right place. I'm glad I'm talking to you. Without that script, you screw it up. So that's my point of view. And now I'm pretty sure bollocks is code for saying you don't agree with me. So I'm going to let you respond to that. All right. Look at the sun shining in on you. You told me before you had no sunshine. It's overcast.
It's come out. Here we are on Necker Island. It's looking lovely, isn't it?
All right. So remember.
So how do I respond to that diatribe? Oh, dear. Right, folks. Well, first of all, I'll take issue with a couple of things that you said. You said, this is where marketing have maybe slightly overplayed their hand. You're saying they're on your website because of what they've done. Yeah? Because of what marketing have done.
Yeah, because theoretically, maybe they went and they did a Google search for blue cows. And you're the expert in blue cows because you've got marketing content that's got, SEO, search engine optimization going on for all your content for blue cows. So they may have self-qualified their pain and found you, or they may have heard you talking about blue cows at a trade show they were at, and they said, hey, I have a problem with blue cows. Either way, that's how it happens. Marketing is not overplaying their hand. That's the whole raison d'etre of marketing.
So there's a false assumption. You're assuming somebody's on your website because they have a problem they want to fix, and they want to fix it now. They could just be fishing. They could be entertaining themselves. There could be any reason they're there. We don't know that. Prospects are allowed not to tell us the truth, and a lot are on fishing expeditions. You mentioned that you phone someone up and you need the script to keep you on messaging. Now, this concerns me, the word messaging. The word messaging seems to denote that you're phoning up to talk to someone about you. Is that what you mean?
I never said that. I said messaging.
No, that's why I'm asking. So the messaging sounds
I'm representing my product or my service, right? So the messaging is going to be related to what I do and how it matters to them, all right? But we're not turning this around into I'm going to go blah, 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 blah about how great I am and not listen to you. This message we have is that scripts are necessary to control messaging.
And what message are you trying to control on a prospecting call? This is what I'm getting at. There is no message.
There's no message, right? So
there's no message on a prospect.
So if they have an interest, they filled out a lead, contact me because I have an interest in blue cows. You're not going to...
Intellectual curiosity is not a buying signal.
I never...
You do know that.
Well, actually, intellectual curiosity is a buying signal because I'll tell you why.
No, it's not.
Because it's not 1995 and we're not sitting with a Rolodex and a pen piece of paper. We're a little busy these days. We're inundated with social media. It's so easy to not pick up that phone. So if I'm going to talk to you, it's going to be relevant.
Hey, Darryl, it's my rebuttal time. You have to let me speak.
But you asked me the question.
Yeah, I know. So, look, if the purpose of a prospecting call is to get a prospect to open up about whether or not they have a painful problem. If you start talking about your product or service on that first initial call, you're already failing. You shouldn't be doing it. It's like going on a date and talking about yourself. First date, big no-no. You don't spend it talking about you. So that is a problem with scripting. It's often designed to enable the salesperson to talk about their product or service. That is the wrong person you should be talking about on a sales call. That's my point.
I'm listening.
Well, that's my point.
That's it. I don't want to interrupt you.
Well, at least you're learning.
So
there is hope at the end of this tunnel.
Actually, I was responding to Andrew Morrow on that. He's saying it's telling. And I'm like, it's not telling. It's not telling. It's only telling. It's not. If the script says to tell, then it's telling. That's not a function of the script. That's a function of the person who wrote the script. All right?
So you keep blaming the writer of scripts. And
absolutely. No, just like I would brain
scripts are the outcome of someone having written it. So you can't have it both ways. Either scripts are good or they're bad. Most are bad, correct? Would you not agree that most scripts are bad?
I will agree most scripts are bad. However, I'm going to go one step further. No. You asked the question. I'm going to say many reps are bad. Many reps are bad.
Yeah, okay. Now, so to carry the chain of thought, if most scripts are bad, and we agree that most scripts are bad, it would probably be better to stop using them then, because it's quite obvious the fanciful scripting factory that seems to make these for every company across the world is crap at doing its job. So why not eliminate the script and train your salespeople on how to get someone talking about them and their problem as opposed to phoning up and vomiting all over them?
That only goes so far. What's your problem? Okay, I blew cows. Okay, great. So what now? I mean, yes, you can ask the generic questions that are universal to your point, and I fully agree on that qualification process. And reps are not bad because of bad scripts. Reps are bad because of bad trainers. Andrew, that's a cop-out. So
it's bad because of bad beliefs and habits and behaviors.
Absolutely. But no, because if I follow you, then training's bad. Because so many sales reps are underperforming, they were trained poorly. So should we throw out training altogether? Should we get rid of Benjamin because they're bad? That makes no sense. I would get rid of
a lot of trainers. There's a lot of crap lawyers. There's a lot of crap trainers out there.
And there's a lot of crap scripts. But that doesn't mean you throw the baby out with the bathwater.
I get rid of a lot of them, yeah.
All right, so that's all.
The scripts don't need to control messaging.
Scripts absolutely need to control messaging.
You are
so wrong on this one, and this is visceral from a marketer because I've seen it over and over and over again where a rep thinks they know better and they go off script with what they think the customer really wants. But the customer came there because of all the interactions and all they read before, and they lose them. I see it every single day.
They lose them because they're having an intellectual conversation about product rather than an emotional conversation about what brought them there in the first place. And I guarantee the reason they've come to that website has got nothing to do with your marketing.
You are so wrong. You're wrong. You don't understand marketing when you say that because
I do.
You totally do not. Although you do a great job marketing yourself. And that's a full compliment. And that's the only compliment you're going to get today. So
I'll take it.
You'll take it. So the reality is we're humans. It's natural behavior. If you don't fit my need, if I don't think you serve my purposes, I never talk to you in the first place. You never, as a salesperson, get my call. You never hear from me because I self-qualified. But if the messaging was good and it resonated with me, I self-qualify and then I give you permission to talk to me. That's the messaging.
Like self-diagnosing before you go to the doctor. I mean, how smart's that?
How many people go on a WebMD and then go in and think I have this ailment?
Yeah, and it turns out they're completely wrong because the doctor does his job
but the doctor
properly.
did the analysis. This is exactly what a salesperson does.
I don't know many doctors using a script.
The script goes back Doctor, I have symptom A, B, and C. All right, let's go back. So you have symptom A? Yep. Okay, let's go through. Yes, you do have A. I have B. Yeah, yes, you do have B. I have C. No, I don't see C. So you have A and B. So now we're connecting. I said A, you said A. I said B, you said B. Oh, what you really have is this over here that you didn't realize. But let's go through and diagnose how that got to be and what we can do to fix that for you.
Yeah,
It's
so
messaging.
they are, and you've hit the nub on the head. They learned how to diagnose. They didn't learn how to read scripts or how to act out scripts or how to deliver scripts. They learned the art of diagnosing.
No, because they
you don't need a
become
script
that
to diagnose.
20%. They
Salespeople
learned
should be
all of
diagnosed.
that when they were interning. They watched and they mentored, which I agree. I fully agree with you. I not disagree that the top 20% don't need scripts. What I'm saying to you is the top 20%, the good reps, have already internalized those scripts, and that's a very different statement. Point being,
So
this slide here.
I think you're already beginning to concede defeat because you've already agreed that most scripts are rubbish. You've already agreed that good reps don't need scripts. I mean, what's going to be left? Bad script for bad salespeople. By that, we should just eliminate the
I think you're totally taking lessons from Mr. Trump. If you say it enough times, it is true. So that's what we're going to go with. And we're going to segue on to slide number 4 here because we're so running out of time because he talks so much. Scripts are not practical for human interaction. Go for it.
Oh.
Scripts are not practical.
I'm sorry. You sort of...
Did I cut it on you there?
Say that again. You broke up. Yeah, you cut out on me there. Sorry.
So for a brief moment there,
and your scripting on the screen hasn't changed.
Well, I think it's a function of your internet, but hey, there we go. No problem.
I suspected it.
Let me walk you through it. I'll go back to the slide for a second so we can see it, and you can let me know. It's called "Scripts Are Necessary." Scripts aren't practical for human interaction. Yeah. All right, so that's what you need to know. That's the talking point. Because many people will say, I can't talk, I can't be off the cuff, the conversations are dynamic. So that's the point. Scripts are not practical for human interaction.
So we've been talking for about 46 minutes and neither of us have had a script.
That's easy for you to say. You've frozen on me, my good friend.
Are you there?
I am here. I can hear you.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, sorry, you cut out completely there. Yeah, so we've been speaking for some time now without the aid of a script. And I think that says something. Human interaction.
Yeah, it says this is in a sales call.
No, but we're demonstrating something that's more important. A sales call is an act of communication between two human beings, right? When you go to the pub to have an interaction with a friend, you don't take a script. When I phone up a managing director, I don't need a script.
I'm not selling anything to my friend at the pub.
Well, you are. You're selling the fact that they want to keep coming out with you.
Nope. And by the way, we do have a framework here. We have 5 slides. That's the framework for our conversation. I've got talking points right here in front of me. I can spin them around and show them to you.
But they're not scripts, are they? They're talking points.
It's a call guide. It's a script. We're going to go back to the splitting hair things again.
Come on,
again. How many times? How many times are you going to go back to this? A script is I am reading everything like this. Come on. This is not 1995. All right? We know better. That's a cop-out.
If that's so true, why are so many telephone prospecting calls so damned awful then?
Why are we having this conversation? Because they are so damn awful. Fully agree with you, they're awful. We're never disagreeing on that. We are in agreement. We are
scrap the script.
The script is not the problem.
Scrap the script.
The script is not the problem.
The script is the problem.
The script is not the problem. No, I could take your standard qualifying questions that you have that bring me from intellect to emotion. I can pop it into a script. Boom. Is the script a problem? Not at all. Oh, it's awfully quiet all of a sudden over there, isn't it? Thank you very much. That's my point. Yes, thank you. Go. One Darryl. There we go. Yes, I got one.
One Darryl. Yeah, okay, that's against 9 for me, is it?
Oh, if clearly this is somebody who can't get Brexit right and he's keeping score. Oh my gosh.
We're doing all right on that.
All right, not a problem.
So scripts aren't practical. No, they're not practical for human interaction. They're not. The answer is simply that. And I think anybody watching this would say on any scale of 1 to 10, 10 being sane and 1 being insane, that you do not need a script for human interaction. There's a 10. You don't need one. We haven't needed one for this conversation. I don't need one to talk to anybody. I don't need one at a networking event, which is a sales meeting. I don't need one at a sales meeting, which is a sales meeting. I don't need one when I'm giving a presentation. If I ever have to give a presentation, I don't need a script. I know what I need to say, and I know what I need to communicate, and I know how to do that. Having the skills and the tools to do that is more important than having a script.
So you keep
Here endeth the lesson.
You that's well said. So you keep bringing this back to the whole conversation of
Scripts.
how do I want to do this?
Scripts.
Script.
You're struggling now.
No. Actually, I was struggling on changing the damn scene on the broadcast. You keep bringing this back that you don't need one. You don't need one. You don't need one. I think it's fantastic.
Oh, I've lost
you. Don't need one. It's not about whether Benjamin Dennehy needs one. It's about whether my team, who's growing, who's expanding, I go from 1 to 5 to 10 to 100. It's about I have a diverse collection of ages, from someone who's fresh out of university in early 20s to someone who's seasoned in their 40s or beyond. You have this complete collection, and the reality is not everybody is you, and there's a large demographic who does need that script until they internalize it, in which case they become that Hollywood actor where they can now go off script a little bit because those lines are just like part of them. So can you hear me there, Benjamin?
I can hear you, and I suppose I'd respond to that by saying, so basically, and it goes back to what we said, scripts are only any good for people who don't know what they're doing. That's what we've come back to.
I would rephrase that. I would say scripts are good for people who are early in their sales career.
Yeah, don't know what they're doing.
Early in their fine. You want to split hairs on that one? I'll give you that one. Don't know what they're doing, because that's not. I don't want to make phrase. I want to clear though. That's not a negative. They don't know what they're doing because they're still learning the craft.
That's a good thing.
Yep.
And that is the worst time to give someone a script, especially when they don't know what they're doing. Because you know what? You sell better when you don't know what you're doing than when you fill your head with all the product knowledge. Because all you want to do is talk about it. A script is training them to be bad salespeople when they're told they're good.
A script is training people to be bad when they know they're good. Based on what?
Because they think they're good, because they got a head full of product knowledge and a head full of features and benefits, and they've memorized all this stuff and they can't wait to go out and talk about it. That is the worst way to be. People that don't know what they're talking about tend to ask better, more intuitive, curious questions. The scripting is designed to destroy that natural curiosity.
Bullshit. Scripting is the collection of all those questions.
You got expletives.
I got it. Because it's true.
Skin there. You know I'm
No, because it's bullshit. I'm tired of that. Scripting is the collection of all those probing questions. It's taking the knowledge that you have and the other successful people on the team have and encapsulating it in posterity, so that next person starting out is going to be way more successful.
You've just jumped the shark.
I have no idea what that means. Jump the shark?
It's when a TV series becomes ludicrous. The Fonz did it in Happy Days. He jumped over a shark.
He did jump the shark. He had cool shorts on.
And that becomes the term for when something's just gone too far now. It's silly.
No, I think
you jumped the shark.
I think what it is you're entranced with your idea and you're not giving it up. And I respect that. I love the passion. We're going to move on. Here's the next question. Yes. Scaling is possible without scripts. Scaling, of
course it
is possible without scripts. You think it is. I think it's my turn to go first, so allow me. I contend it's not, because I think in the early days when you have 1 or 2 or 3 people, you can be an intimate team. You can be sitting in the pit together, and you can coach one another. And you'll have Benjamin, supervising the crew over there, who's a rock star, and you'll all have your red hats on, and you'll be a team, and life is good. All right. But suddenly, when you have success, and your team of 2 or 3 becomes a team of 10, 30, 50. It doesn't scale because you're so busy onboarding, you're so busy trying to throw them on the phones or whatever it is in their role to develop business, that there's no way you can ensure they're getting the same training and the same speed. It just doesn't work that way. It doesn't scale. But going back full circle to what I was just saying is, when you have the experts who have learned the lessons and made the mistakes and learned what works, exactly to Benjamin's point, I can give you the same 5, 6, 7 questions, and it's every single time. When you instantiate all of those points into a script as a reference, as a call guide, I'm just using every name because everybody, you call it a script, you call it a call guide, you call it a structure, whatever, it's all there. If you do that, then that wisdom is shared with the team, and it's way easier to scale. That's my point. I'll shut up, and I'll go back over to my good friend Benjamin.
Well, goes back to what I've said. Yeah, you don't need scripts. We've already agreed that most scripts are bad. We've already agreed that scripts are for people that don't know what they're doing. So this proposition scaling as possible without scripts is actually false because
But
you
wait.
can.
If you're going to summarize what we've already agreed that scripts aren't the problem. It's the people who produce the scripts and produce bad scripts are the problem.
So scripts. Ultimately, though, we're still going back to scripts are the problem.
No,
Then,
we're
aren't we?
not. We're going back to the people who write the
Oh, so you're
scripts are
blaming
the
the people
problem.
that's writing the
I'm
script. Well,
not
who writes?
blaming the tool. I'm
I
blaming
tell
the
you, the
people.
people that write the scripts are the people that bang on about how great scripts are.
Wrong.
You see the
Wrong.
dog eater.
Wrong.
See the vicious cycle we're
Wrong.
trapped in here.
We're not in a vicious
People who
cycle.
like
You wanted to
scripts
summarize what
write
we've
scripts.
agreed to. We've agreed. You
Hey,
left
let
one
me
out.
answer the question,
Go
and I'm just
for it.
getting there. So you don't need terrible scripts to scale. In fact, quite the opposite. They will prevent you scaling because scripts keep you trapped in a rut, and a rut is nothing more than a coffin with the ends kicked out. So look, scripts, you don't need them for scaling. That's it. I'm not sure what more I can add because I think I've already won this debate, and the people at home and at work and around the globe
You
know that.
know, I love it. We have the Americans have the midterms coming up here, and Trump is going from rally to rally to rally on stage and telling us how the economy has never been better, and he's the best president in the world, and unemployment's never been better. And this is not a Trump or anti-Trump statement. The point I'm making is, soon as he says those statements, all the major publications go and fact check and say he's wrong, he's wrong, he's wrong, he's wrong, he's wrong. Just because you say it, Benjamin, doesn't make it so. The fact of the matter is, scripts are necessary to scale because what you end up having with is just a discombobulation of mixed messaging, and you have failure and you have frustration because reps are not getting the victories they want because they don't have the tools. Scripting is just one of those tools, to be clear on that. It's not the only tool by any stretch of the imagination. And then what you have is you have turnover, and that affects the company culture. It goes on and on. Scaling is all about equipping your team with the right tools to get the job done. Scaling is about growing fast and furious, and it's one thing to do it one-on-one, one thing to do it with a fixed team. We have 500 team for the next month or 60 days or 90 days. We're going to make ourselves better. But when I'm scaling, it's a whole different set of issues.
I can give a true story. A few weeks ago, I was contacted by a sales director that I'd done some work with, him and his team, and taught them how to make prospecting calls. And he said to me that his son had got a job working for a big major high street bank here in the UK. And he was in despair. They were given this script and they had to phone up and read this script. And they had to go through the script and apply the script, and everyone had to do it. He said he made something like 200 calls and he got nowhere. So this sales director coached his son on the things that I had taught him, the things that his people were doing. He went in and he started using what I taught. And within a matter of minutes, he was getting through to people, he was having proper conversation, and he started to sell. But he was told to stop because that's not the way we do it. You follow the script. You stick to the script. So
that's training and management. It's not the script. You keep conflating them. It's not.
I'm not conflating them.
If they'd have taken that what his manager just
Scripts
put and put it in the script,
reinforce poor management, and poor management needs scripts to justify their existence.
I agree with you. I agree with the first half of your statement. Scripts absolutely reinforce.
Can I ask you a question then?
He's getting riled up. Look
at it. Do you think
if
we chose a company at random and said, let's rip up your script, let's not use a script, let's try something different, do you think it would completely fail?
Do I think it would completely fail?
It would fail.
So I need more context. So who's doing the calling? Is it a brand new?
Well, do you believe you can't make prospecting calls without a script? Could it be done without a script?
I'm actually I'm not pausing because what you think. I'm trying to frame the conversation in the sense of, do I think it can be done without a script? I'm actually genuinely trying to. I'm considering your question.
Can you do effective prospecting without a script?
I don't believe you can do scalable. I think you're going to do 50 calls. Your 50 calls that are going to fail, like your story just said. I guess what's going to happen. I think a script is training wheels. So do I think I can do effective prospecting? So if I go, no, I'm answering your question. Hear me out. If I had a good sales rep and they knew the foundational aspects and they had a crib sheet, maybe it's a script, maybe it's a piece of paper, I don't give a crap, to help guide them because the first few calls are going to be the roughest. If they had that, I think we can do it. But that crib sheet is no different than a script.
Right. So going back to my point though, do you think it's possible to make successful sales and prospecting calls without a script?
I'm long thinking. Do I think it's? I really want to give your.
Because
your
you know
question.
the answer
No,
is
no, I
yes.
don't. No, because I'm
And
not
if it's
convinced.
yes,
No,
your
I
answer is
don't.
flat.
No, I genuinely.
So you
No,
don't think it is
my answer
humanly
is
possible
straightforward.
in this
Do I think
universe?
it's possible? Yes. Hear me out.
Fine.
Caveat.
So therefore,
Caveat.
script
Caveat.
is-
Caveat. Yes, for a small segment of the population.
Good salespeople.
Yeah, but this I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't just have
They're-
good salespeople on my team. You can good salespeople me all you want. I have this many good salespeople and this many who someday I hope will be good salespeople.
Without a script.
Good, eventually, absolutely, because like I said in my training wheels example, they've
Exactly.
internalized it.
Ultimately,
They've internalized it.
Ultimately, we want to get salespeople to the point where they don't need a script. That's what
I
we're
agree
saying.
with you there. I agree with that statement there. I agree
So
with that statement.
therefore, scripts are really not required for people that know what they're doing.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that statement.
All right, so we can get rid of scripts then. If we taught people better how to make better calls without scripts.
But how are you teaching them? Like what? You're going to say, okay, I'm going to tell you what to say. Now you remember it. Now you say it back to me. Like, seriously.
No. You're assuming they're reading something in their head.
No, I'm not.
All
You're
that-
assuming that's what I'm assuming. It's a call guide. It's, no different than I make notes about your comments here. I look, he made that comment. So now I'm going to speak to that point. It's a guide. My promotional video for this webinar literally read the script, and then I said, do you do that? Because I sure as hell don't.
Anyway, I think no. I don't know how to labor the point anymore. We've come to the conclusion, and we have agreed that good people don't need scripts. Scripts help people that aren't that good. But if you could teach people to be better without scripts, it would also work.
We've agreed good people don't need scripts. We've not agreed that you can teach people without scripts. You've claimed we've agreed with that. My position is we've not.
Because it's what I teach.
Well, I understand it's what you teach. However, the reality is not everybody's got a Benjamin Dennehy available to them.
But reality is based on possibility, and it is possible for people
It's
to start their
absolutely
career
possible.
in sales without using a script.
100% agree it's possible. However,
aren't
most
really
don't.
necessary.
Scripts are totally necessary.
They're used by poor management to support poor sales practices.
If we let's go to this last slide here, which is scripts.
Crikey, another one.
Scripts help close more deals.
No,
All right?
they
And
elongate the process.
they elongate the process. That's what my good friend says, and that's a fair point. I don't disagree that they can elongate the process. I would actually grant you that. However, what I do believe is they can actually close more deals as well, because if you've captured all those wonderful qualifying questions and techniques and supporting information in the script, the very stuff that you teach, the very content that's made by marketing, the very, reaffirming pieces of content from an analyst or a thought leader that says this is the solution you need. If all that is in that script process, then it ensures that you can set the stage better, that you can differentiate yourself from the competition, that you can set the roadblocks, and that you can give them the content they need to move the conversation forward. Yes, a good rep will do that intuitively. I want to stop that conversation. All I'm saying is it gives you the most bullets in your gun. So I think done right, it can help close more deals. But in the end, and this is where you and I will agree, it takes a good sales rep to close a deal.
Yes. Well, I'm not going to disagree with that. And obviously, because my whole argument to this point is that scripts are useless and of no real use, then obviously it goes to say that they don't really help close more deals. I don't think I need to add much more to that because we know who's won. I don't even think we need to take a public vote on this.
We can take a vote. I'm fine with that.
We
We won't.
vote.
There's no polling software, but
one caveat though: all those who vote have to say, do they use a script or do they not use a script?
No, because
It'd be
that's
interesting to see.
Actually, yeah, okay, yeah, I agree.
There could be a prejudice in the voting. So if you vote for scripting, you've got to say, I use a script. It'd be interesting to see if we're divided down lines, which we probably will be.
So then you want to go, I think, one step further. Do you use a script? Oh. And is it a good script? Because we do agree that there's a lot of really bad scripts out there. So so that's it. So
that's it.
I don't know if we've solved anything. What we have agreed upon is that
I won.
Is that we have a very strong difference of opinion. I firmly believe the following, and then you can correct me because I know you want to. It's killing you. I agree that if you're Benjamin Dennehy with his raw skills, that you will be very successful. You will be a good rep. You will be the top 20%. I fully agree with that statement. All right. What I also agree is I don't care about the good reps. I care about everybody else because in the end, I have a number to hit. I can't rely solely on the top 20%. So I agree that any tools I can give my team to be that much more successful is a good thing. And a script done right, just like a CRM system implemented properly, is going to help the cause.
Right. That was touching.
Okay, guys. So we are so out of time. We're 5 minutes over. Andrew Morrow is right on here. He's saying, yes, Darryl, you won. I'm converted. So that's awesome. Thank you, Andrew. I knew it'd get you eventually. And Joseph, I fully believe that you and I are right here on our supporter scripts. So if you liked today's conversation, I had fun. I will tell you this, my personal experience, Benjamin was as formidable as I suspected. I have more hints now to why he's the most hated. However, I still think he's lovable in his own little way.
I am. I don't advertise that, though. It's not in my script.
It's not in your script. You should put it in your script. There's a whole audience you're missing out on. All right. Benjamin, for those who remarkably may not be familiar with you, where can we actually get to know more about you?
You can find me on LinkedIn. That's where I spend most of my time. Funnily enough, on the 28th of November in Southampton in the UK, I'm running a telephone prospecting bootcamp, how to make zero pressure calls without scripts. They're very popular. I do them about every 6 weeks, but you have to be based in the UK. Please, could people stop contacting Sandler trainers and saying you want to work with Benjamin? It's starting to annoy my colleagues.
Now, if they want to find you online, you're on LinkedIn, right? Benjamin Dennehy?
Benjamin Dennehy on LinkedIn. That's where you'll get me.
And exactly as the spell here, the Dennehy. I always want to put an H-E-Y, but it's not. It's H-Y.
H-Y.
That's right. That's the gotcha. And are you on any other social platforms? Are you on?
No, just LinkedIn.
Just LinkedIn. All right. So there you go. So definitely, let me tell you this, folks. Benjamin is a blast to watch on LinkedIn. He is colorful. He is all over it. He's regular. He's persistent. So please follow him because more than likely, if you see a comment from him, you'll probably see a few minutes later a comment from me saying he's wrong. And with that, we're done. If you want to follow me, like Benjamin, LinkedIn is where to find me. I'm also on Twitter under the handle Opinionated. Go figure. If he's the most hated, I'm the most opinionated. Spelled OHPINION, the number 8 TED. So there you go. I'm with VanillaSoft, the world's most awesomest sales engagement platform. Check it out at VanillaSoft.com. In the meantime, if you enjoyed today's conversation and today's debate and the information shared and the points of view shared, then go to VanillaSoft.com under resources because you're going to find many other pieces of content just like this from today's thought leaders, just like Benjamin. In the meantime, thank you so much for joining us today. I had a blast. Benjamin, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure, Darryl. I love winning against Canadians.
I know. When you experience it someday, you let me know. In the meantime, you take care, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.